Alright, what's up guys? David here, and we have our first game of the group stages of the NPL Minors Tryout Tournament. Yeah, there we go. We're against Colin and the Rhode Island Raichus. And over on the right over here, we have his 8 mons, my 8 mons, and I guess we can jump right into what I'm bringing. First up is an Adamant Beedrill. Adamant Mega Beedrill outspeeds the Weavile after Mega Evolution. The rest of the EVs are in defense to try and live an Ice Shard a little bit better. Drill Run, Knockoff, U-Turn, X-Scissor. Nothing fancy, just the plan is to just pivot around. He doesn't really have a good switch-in. His main switch-ins are likely to be Donphan and Mega Scizor, with his offensive switch-in being a Salazzle. Next up, we have a defensive Reflect-type Starmie. Yeah, we're bold because I don't actually have to outspeed anything aside from Haxorus. Yeah, aside from Haxorus, there's nothing worth outspeeding on this team. Because I can't outspeed the Weavile, and Salazzle will probably be Jolly, or it can't touch me anyway. Reflect type for good stuff like stealing Bug Steel from Scizor, or Dark from Weavile. Just in general being a nuisance, Scald Burns, things like that. Up next is my Scarfed Crocodile with EQ, Knockoff, Crunch, Low Kick. Crunch is for the Reuniclus. If I knock off its berry, I could still 2-hit KO it with Scarf Crunch. Low Kick is for the Snorlax and general coverage, where I didn't want to use, what's it called, Superpower for the defense drops. And yeah, Scarf Crook is pretty solid out. Its speed is to outspeed a Adamant Haxorus, I believe. Yeah. Next up, we have Leftovers Cobalion, just Magnet Rise, Volt Switch, Stealth Rocks, and Sacred Sword. Sacred Sword instead of CC because it beats Curselax. Magnet Rise on the Earthquake if he chooses to run Earthquake over Fire Punch. And then Sacred Sword 2-hit KOs standard Curselax even after a curse because it ignores stat boost. Volt Switch for pivoting. This thing walls Donphan, or should wall Donphan. We have a Dragonian Z Moxie Salamence. And Dragonium, just cuz I wanted to use a Z move. I could have went Yachi for the Donphan and the Weavile, but I decided that Dragonium was more fun, and Weavile I wasn't super scared of because of the Silvally that I decided to bring. And my Silvally is a bulky, special attacking fire type with Flamethrower, Parting Shot, Ice Beam, and Metal Sound. Metal Sound to let me beat things like Gourgeist, Reuniclus, Scizor, whatever, Lax if need be. But yeah, Parting Shot for Momentum, Fire Memory because of Scizor and Weavile and Salazzle all needing to be kind of checked by a fire type because it resists most of the scary moves that they can go for. But yeah, that is the team. One thing to note in the group stages is I have Mega Beedrill and Dugtrio, and a really annoying pattern you'll see is that all my opponents have really good priority mons, making Dugtrio and Mega Beedrill very tough to bring in the group stages. So I pretty much have to rely on all my support mons that were supposed to be helping those two sweep, and hoping that they could do the sweeping instead. So let's just get over to the battle. Alright. Here's the fun part. We're up against Colin. I see that, like I showed in the team builder, he left his Gorgeist and his Salazzle at home. Things to note are, well, without Salazzle, I'm a lot more open to just throwing my Cobalion into things, throwing my Starmie into things. I don't know. The thing, I don't know. Where am I going with that? Whatever. Let me just start the battle. I decide he leads Snorlax for whatever reason. I went with Beedrill to scout, sort of just get my Mega off and see what his switch in is. And it turns out to be a Donphan. So, yeah, this is going a little fast. I go to Starmie on his Donphan. I go for Scald. He goes to Lax. I switch out. He hits me with a Banded Pursuit. Thank God I was a Bold Nature, or else I would have probably died. I get to go to my Cobalion and get my rocks up. Now, afraid of him possibly like defogging or something, I just click Volt Switch here. And I believe I go into my switch in, which is my Soul Volley Fire. Which he then brings in the Haxors. I'm like, I cannot allow this thing to set up, so I Ice Beam and I notice that I am faster, which means he's an Adamant Haxorus. After the battle was over, he said that that was a mistake and he should have been Jolly, but regardless, he was Adamant, which means that my Crocodile outspeeds, so this Ice Beam damage does not go to waste. So I choose to sacrifice my Starmie, not thinking that, really doubting that he would click Dragon Dance again here. So he Earthquakes, down goes Starmie. I get to go to Crocodile and click EQ, get my Moxie boost. He goes to Reuniclus, and I'm fairly confident that unless he's like super specially invested, that I was pretty much banking on dodging a Focus Blast here, but instead he goes for Acid Armor, and that lets me kill his Reuniclus. Now, I say I was banking on a Focus Miss. Most variants of Reuniclus shouldn't have killed my Crook from full. Like if he was a bulky variant, which I was expecting, or whatever it may be, but I was not expecting him to click Focus Blast, or if he was going to click it, he would miss, or it would not kill. And I decided to take that risk. I had no real switch into a Reuniclus anyway. He ended up going for Acid Armor, which was wonderful for me. And here I just sacrificed my Crocodile, I believe. Yeah, I just leave in Crocodile. It's at +2, so might as well. And there he goes. He goes for a superpower. I realize I can keep Crook for later. Keep it as death fodder. So I go into my Silvally, now it's at -1. Flamethrower, get the kill. He goes into his Lax. I know this thing is banded, so I get to Parting Shot and go, and I believe I just sack off my Crook here and put it out. And so he goes for a Banded Return. Now, what do I get to do? I get to go into my Cobalion. I get to click Sacred Sword here and do a nice 27. 26.6 to be exact. I go for a Magnet Rise as he goes for his Stealth Rocks. Good play on his part. Probably just wanting to get up his rocks, which is fair. I go for Sacred Sword. He goes for Knock. He gives me a +1. I don't know if he was expecting me to switch or what, but maybe he just had nothing else to touch me. I'm kind of expecting this to be low kick, but I don't really have a switch in. So Volley dies. So I go into my Volley, knowing that I could live a hit. And I believe I just fire off a Flamethrower, yep. And here I just Parting Shot into my Mence, I believe. Yeah. I go into my Mence, I figured it's at -1, I could probably take a return okay. Nope, can't. So, here comes an Outrage. I don't bother even clicking Dragonium, so who cares. And in comes Weavile. Weavile's scary. Weavile kills Mence with an Ice Shard, but my Beedrill outspeeds Weavile 100%, and there's 0 chance if it's Jolly to kill my Beedrill. So yeah, I was just kind of all over the place. It was hyper offense versus his really offensive team. I don't think any of his mons were defensive in the slightest. Like, even Donphan was a max HP variant with how much it took from a U-turn. But yeah, it was a good game from Colin. We just kind of both threw mons around, with Weavile just being a really big threat and him managing to weaken all my main checks for it being nothing, if I'm going to be completely honest. My Silvally was my check, and he managed to get up rocks, which was smart on his part. So, overall, that was game 1. And we have 2 more to go. One against Uzi Gunner, and the other against Shadow, 681 Shadow, I believe. But yeah, those battles should be up tomorrow and the day after. So, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.